what's up, Figure 4 TV? It's your favorite IWC Tag Team Champions. I'm the Figure 4 TV, and I got Red Carpet Ring with me. How you feeling, Red Carpet?
I'm good. It's Red Carpet Rain here. I'm good. I'm good. Here to talk about what's going on in the wrestling world, see what the topics are. Definitely see what's the next move gonna be.
Definitely. So today, guys, we want to talk about All Elite Wrestling. Now, I don't do much talk about All Elite Wrestling over here on this channel, but it's going crazy. The internet is buzzing right now because of this picture leak, and that's the arena, guys. That's one of their Dynamite shows, if I'm not mistaken, guys. BBK, what do you got to say about this? I know now you have a show where you compare and contrast NXT and AEW.
Yes, every week. Check it out. Every week, AEW versus NXT, Dynamite versus NXT, viewership ratings, and also highlights of each show. Um, I actually went to a AEW show before in the past, and it was exactly like that. So that is not made up.
That is incredible. Now, I want to talk about how did it go from sellouts like this? I mean, they did have sellouts. Wembley was a great sellout,
Yeah,
but
sure.
how did we go from selling out to this is disturbing, TBK. Look at how many empty seats.
Yeah, this is terrible. It's like I'm gonna be honest with you. It's independent shows do better than that. And I've been to an independent show this year. Actually, OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, that's run by Al Snow, and that show was better than that. It was more people in tune. I think what's going on at AEW. It's a number of factors actually. One, they lost a lot of key stars in the names of Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, who are now in WWE. A few others, Jay Cargill and a few others as well. Some are NXT as well, like Ethan Page, Sean Spears. Just in general, just a name a few. Some are big names, some are not. Another factor is AEW. I think they bit off more than they could chew. They thought they was in the big leagues. They thought they could hang with WWE and get them somewhat close to large venues like WWE, and it's not. It's not even filling up. Not even half the arena's filled. It's like they only fill a quarter of the arena, and the quality's not the same.
I
One thing
think
I've learned.
I
Go ahead.
think that's key because if you're not putting out the same quality, you gotta lower your prices. People are not
Yeah.
fools. I think people are boycotting because the product is not worth the amount of money. And then they're doubling up on the product. They're force feeding us way too much of a bad product and charging us.
hmm Yeah, they ain't move like TNA. Get a TNA Plus subscription. I think it's $200 a year, or I think it's like $9.99 a month, and you just do that. And just get unlimited venue. Don't try to get something too big, and I think you'll be fine. And you see TNA, they just had Victory Road, another PLE this year sold out, and that's due to the partnership with WWE. See, TNA, we are quickly seeing a resurgence of TNA. We knew that it fell to its graces from the Dixie Carter days, but now it is rose to prominence again. They're not trying to be compete with WWE. They're trying to stay in their lane, and that's what the AEW should move to.
See, now that you mentioned TNA, what I've noticed, TNA has been going up in the trajectory because they have agreed to work with WWE. I don't see TNA partnership with AEW like I did in the past. Now I
I
see
haven't either.
TNA, right? You see TNA with WWE, and they're actually winning. They're winning with this partnership, so I don't see them ever going back.
I don't see it either. And if you notice, when they partnered with AEW, was TNA selling out shows and having great rave reviews? No, it was doing all right. It was doing regular TNA numbers, but not like it is now. These are record-breaking numbers they're hitting right now, and that's due to the new partnership with WWE. And TNA has new management. They're owned by Anthem, I believe. Scott D'Amore's out, and I think he may have something to do with why they did a partnership with AEW. He did an interview with Chris Van Fleet. He was praising the partnership with AEW, not giving so much credit to WWE. So I think he may have been behind the whole AEW partnership. I'm just throwing that out there.
I could believe that. And I'll tell you one thing. One thing you did just mention just now. It's more bang for TNA Buck working with WWE than it ever was for AEW. Because when TNA was partnered with AEW were gaining way more. They had TNA titles all on their show. They were gaining more. TNA wasn't gaining anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was all
Now,
about AEW.
right, it was all uplifting AEW, whereas WWE has managed to keep TNA champion strong. TNA champion is just as strong as the NXT champion. And I mean, she haven't beat the NXT champion, but
Yes, true.
after the NXT champion, ain't no other girl can beat TNA's champion. So they keep the champions and the champions strong. So they got a bang for their buck. TNA get way more bang for their buck flooded through, going through their doors. Because now I can see people coming on over to see the stars that they have dance and prance around in WWE.
Not just that, the partnership has made people from WWE want to sign TNA stars like Jordan Grace. You know, her contract's up early next year. It was originally up middle next year, got amended to early next year. They said she more likely gonna sign with WWE now. Who's this partnership?
And you touched on something that was key too. These venues, guys. When is AEW just gonna learn to just book a smaller venue? It'll cost you less to produce a show in that smaller venue, and you'll end up profiting more.
Yes, yes. And two, um, when AEW was doing partnership with TNA, I never heard nobody want to go to AEW for TNA like that. They pretty much stayed where they were at. It wasn't, there wasn't treat to sign.
That's true.
People, yeah, people want to come to WWE because of the great partnership. Like, hey, if they market me good with the partnership, imagine what they could do for me if I sign with the company.
Now I want to ask you something too. I think Tony Khan is just in over his head, bro. I think he's in over his head. You know what I mean? When you give a fan authority, they're gonna make these type mistakes because he make moves without foreseeing the future. You gotta have some type of long-term planning. We know he's not a good booker as far as long-term storylines, but he's kind of running his company the same way he run his booking, where he's all for the grab, he's all for the instant right now, and we know that that's never gonna work. That is never, ever, ever gonna work. Now, what do you see? I can't even say how do you fix this. Like, I, he trapped himself.
Yeah, he did.
Tony Khan has trapped himself into something similar to where them old wrestling traditionalists in the territories, that was their biggest problem. Their biggest problem was not wanting to evolve the product. So they kept that Southern style wrestling. And you notice that. You can see the remnants in WCW, which failed. And now we see that same template being ran and used in AEW as an excuse. Oh no, we want to be independent. We want to be raw. We want to be the death match mania. You know what I mean? They don't want to add that entertainment value, which will safen the product and which will push the product in another hemisphere.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And another thing too, it's that Tony Khan's doing what WCW was doing. The reason you said they have multiple, they double up on the shows and they have bigger arenas, is also because they are giving these they're overpaying these stars. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. They're overpaying these stars. They're paying way too much money. And
Bingo.
yep, you get people that shouldn't get the money that they get. I'm not saying don't pay them anything. I'm not saying don't lowball them either. But don't give them, don't overpay somebody, knowing that they're not worth that value. And the way and the reason what's going on, since they've done that, they have to get that revenue back, and they do that by booking all these crazy shows, creating shows, adding more pay-per-views like Dynasty and Wrestle Dream, and then these making new titles like the Continental Championship, all this other nonsense.
You raise a good point. And speaking of that, they're also adding shows on top of shows. You're not selling out these venues. You're not selling out these stadiums and these arenas, but you're going to add more shows. What do you know about Shockwave, guys? I mean, look, we already have Dynamite, we have Collision, Rampage, and now AEW Shockwave.
That's a shockwave to me because I never heard of it before. That's why I think it's a shockwave. It is a shockwave. Um, my problem with that is you're already doing very low numbers with Collision. I think Collision, the week of Bash in Berlin, the last week of August, that was your lowest numbers like ever in the history of Collision. Rampage, no one watches that show. You're trying to get bigger names back on there, but it's not working. If you can't pull that, and Dynamite's your only premier show as far as having a rating, why would you add another show? Why would you add that? I don't get that. I don't get that at all. I don't understand that.
Right.
Because
It's like
yeah,
you're doing it just to say now. It's like now you're
yeah,
doing it just to say you did it. Remember when Vince was in that era where he just wanted to have a first to everything? Oh, this is the first, this is the first. It's like you're doing these just to say you did it. This is like Tony Khan now. You're making these shows just to say you have 4 shows, but they're not thriving. Kind of similar to how he's adding his stars to his roster. He's buying them and he's saying, yeah, I have them, but they're not selling. They're not getting over. You have Rusev. You have Aleister Black. You just gave Buddy Murphy a big old contract, and what are they producing?
nothing. They're not doing anything. Nothing's going on with these stars. Not a thing.
All right, so I ain't gonna hold you. I know you're a very busy man. Let's talk about some solutions. What does Tony Khan need to do to fill them seats? This is not good. This is not good. What he's gonna need to do? Do you
Well,
have
for
any
one, what
idea?
he's going to have to do, yeah. Well, for what he's about to do, he just signed that. I think he did sign a contract with Warner Brothers Discovery WBD, and I think because he signed that contract, and he already had rejected saying it was too low. He has to do stuff like this to bring up the numbers. But what he's going to have to do is he's going to. I said this before, and I'll say it again. You're going to have to combine the Ring of Honor and AEW rosters and do some type of split. You're going to have to do that to keep the viewership and keep the people tuned into the show. Split up the belts, make 2 men world titles, 2 women's world titles. Split the mid card titles, add another women's mid card title. You're gonna have to do that to keep people in because I see you have no problem creating belts. Let's just do it in the right way this time. That's the only way I see that working. You just dissolve the ROH, get that out of there, combine it with all AEW people because they all show up on the same show anyway. Let's be honest. We see ROH people on AEW TV all the time. We see AEW people on ROH TV all the time. Why don't you just stop playing around and combine it? You go on both companies. You can do that and just make it more interesting because it's just ridiculous. We seeing AEW people with ROH titles. Like we see Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes with the Ring of Honor tag team belts. Why don't you just merge them together and you can have one show? Why do that? It's like you're making extra work for yourself and you don't have to.
Absolutely, and I was gonna get to that. I'm glad you just touched on it before we got on out of here. What is with them and all of these titles, man? Why? Why do everybody over there at AEW have to have a title? Sammy got
Yeah.
hurt and he came back and he
Now
already
he a
has a
tag
title.
team champion. Yeah. And then not just that, he's a tag team champion, but you got him in singles competition on his recent episode of Dynamite against Ricochet. Is he a tag team guy or is he a singles competitor? Which one is he? Because if you're gonna be a tag team guy, I'm expecting to see you in tag team action. You are a tag team champion for a reason. Why is he doing singles? And I say it's just all over the place with AEW.
and
It's
and
all over
that
the place.
go that go back to the fan in Tony Khan who sit around on the internet all day and he watch what the people is talking about. And I've been I heard for about 2 years that the dream match, Sammy Guevara versus Ricochet. Back when Ricochet was in WWF, they was talking about this as a dream match. So you get them in the promotion, you don't build to it, you just put them two in the ring.
Yeah, that's
Incredible.
no bill, no nothing.
Incredible.
You know what's
Incredible.
crazy? You know what's crazy? I just saw a flashback to WW. They was going to WWE or end of WWF. Why Stone Cold walked out because he was going to lose to Brock Lesnar in the first round or second round King of the Ring qualifying match. And he said he left because there was no bill. He said he's going to put me on TV on Raw and just lose to Brock Lesnar. There's no build, and that's why he walked out. Now he did it the wrong way, but I understand his frustration, and that's how AEW runs their whole company.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Ain't been the same since Cody left. Ain't been the same since Cody left. And I might say Cody is doing a good job for Triple H. We give Triple H a lot of credit, but a lot of stuff is being ran through Cody, and Triple H is just proving it because it's a good idea. I could believe that Cody is single-handedly the TNA connection. He's the TNA connect. He is the one that made that TNA partnership deal real smooth because when he was in AEW, he had Matt Cardona in AEW. They was planning matches. He also had Eric Rowan coming on over.
Yes, yes, and they all like Cody, and I think TNA is a connection with Cody. I think because he was in TNA, we keep forgetting when Cody was on the independent scene after he left WWE in 2016. He not only he did the New Japan and Ring of Honor, but he also did TNA. I remember seeing him and Brandy on Impact.
Good information. Good information. So if you don't got nothing else you want to add, I'm gonna go on and wrap this thing on up.
Yes, I'll add one more thing. AEW, stay in your lane. In the words of LeVar Ball, stay in your lane. Stop trying to compete with the number one juggernaut, which we know is WWE. They cannot be stopped. They cannot be defeated. And as you need to take TNA's approach, if you can't beat them, join them. Partner with them, please. But you can't do that because you burn those bridges, obviously. But that's what he should have done. And maybe in the near future, maybe he can repair it and, suck your pride up and do that. And I don't care about this whole who's running. This ain't Tony Khan's company no more. Shane coming over. It don't even matter. It's not going to fix that. That you're still going to be at the bottom. That's not even going to fix it. We've seen that before. So try again.
Absolutely. Stop reaching for the home run, Tony Khan, and hit some ground balls. Get on base, Tony Khan. Just work on getting on base and running the bases and get your scores like that. Every swing don't gotta be for the fence, Tony. But with that said, we gonna go on and wrap this thing on up. Salute to you, Red Carpet Ring. Thanks for coming on out. Where can they find you at?
Oh, sure. They can find me at Red Carpet Ring on YouTube. And of course, I'm on X and Facebook and Instagram. I also post over there as well. Yeah, I have my other channels, Toxic Ring Scandal, aka KDH, for scandals behind the scenes, and also a women's wrestling channel, Pink Square Circle. But I appreciate you letting me on.
No doubt, guys. And it's a wrap.
This is a wreck. He's moving like an uncaged animal.
No lie, he's wild in there.